Good morning. My name is Michael Garcia, and I'm the chair of the Hispanic Vote. We are going to continue our series of interviews with community leaders, elected officials, and judges here in Broward County. Today, we're going to focus on the judicial system in Broward County and the importance of good judges that represent the community, that follow the law, and the importance of having a judiciary that's diverse. So today I have the pleasure of interviewing today Judge Phoebee Francois. She's a Broward County Court judge.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming out. So Judge, you know, like I said, we're doing these interviews and the importance of judges and their roles in the community. So we have you here. And before we get into some interviews, I want to get a little bit of a background of you so we can tell the community a little bit of who you are. So please tell us who you are.
Well, I was actually born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Okay.
My family moved to the United States when I was very young. I was about 2 years old, but I grew up in New Jersey, a place called Plainfield, New Jersey. Most people down here have never heard of it. So I grew up there, and I went to undergraduate in Temple University in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, okay.
I came down here for law school. I went to St. Thomas in Miami.
Okay.
And that was in 1991, and I've never left since.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't even think I can deal with the winter anymore, so I can't even imagine that I grew up there.
So to our Haitian friends and family members, ça passe, right? So I grew up in New York. I grew up in Flatbush, so I'm familiar with that. So Your Honor, how long have you been on the bench?
I've been on the bench approximately 2 years. I was appointed in June of 2018, but prior to that, I was a general magistrate for almost 10 years.
Okay.
So I have approximately 12 years of judicial and quasi-judicial experience.
Okay. Before your experience as a magistrate, what was your experience then?
Well, right out of law school, my very first job was with the Seminole County State Attorney's Office.
Okay.
I worked there for about a year. Then I had the opportunity to come back down to South Florida, so I worked at the Public Defender's Office, and I was there for about 10 years. And then once I left there, I went into private practice, and so I was in private practice for about 5 years. And then I was appointed as a magistrate, and I was there for about 10 years. And then 2 years on the bench. So that ages me. So I've been practicing for about 26 years now.
Wow. You know, and you know what I like to see, Your Honor? You have a diverse background. So you had some private practice. You had some experience in government work.
Yes.
So that's important for our judges to have some diversity in background, experience, and in the background, right?
Yes.
You know, obviously Broward County is very diverse, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're the second Haitian American judge in the county?
I am.
Okay.
Florence was actually elected in 2016, I think it was.
Correct.
But I was actually the very first Haitian American that was appointed to the county court bench.
Okay.
We do also have Phoebee Francois.
Okay.
She is of Haitian descent as well, but she's in circuit court.
I apologize. So see, you corrected me. No, you didn't want to leave her out. That's important. Can you tell us a little bit about your daily activities, your role as a judge, so people can understand a little bit? And first, start off, how many cases do you have?
Right now, my case count is about, I would say 4,800, so we have a lot of cases. I'm currently at the Satellite Courthouse, the West Satellite Courthouse in Plantation, and I do civil, small claims, landlord-tenant evictions, and for the condo foreclosures,
Okay.
as well as criminal.
Okay.
So we do a lot of different cases, a lot of different types of cases, so we're busy.
You're busy, but you don't do family, correct?
We don't do family. I did family as a magistrate.
As a magistrate, and I just, you know, we like to have these interviews to educate the public. Can you tell us a little bit what's the difference between county court and circuit court?
Okay. Well, the difference between county is for example, in the civil cases, the jurisdictional limit is now 30,000. Prior to January of 2020, it was 15,000. So they've increased it to 30,000. Whereas the civil limit in circuit court is higher. It's plus higher than 30,000.
So I think you're telling me you're gonna get more cases than.
We are getting more cases. That's the thing. We're getting more cases. And small claims is obviously they don't hear small claims in circuit court. Small claims is really county. It's people's court.
The people's court.
Is where people come in with the smaller claims.
Yes.
Although it was 5,000 prior to January. In January they increased it to 8,000.
Correct.
So if you have you hired someone to do plumbing for you and they didn't do a good job, that's where they would come to county court in order to deal with that.
So you have anything below $30,000 basically, right?
That's
so
correct.
if it's a dispute over $5 to $30,000 to $28,900, $29,000,
Right.
you have those cases. So you have a really large docket.
Right, and in criminal, the difference obviously is that in circuit, they deal with the felonies, and in county, we deal with the misdemeanor cases. So the felony cases are the cases that could get prison time. If a year and a day would be,
Yes.
prison time versus the 364, which is the maximum in county court.
But you also have to deal with traffic tickets, right?
Now we also have to
You
deal with
traffic tickets,
That's
which
right.
that's a lot of.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And the traffic tickets that's not even included in that case count that I gave you. 'Cause
The traffic.
Traffic is separate.
Oh, wow.
The traffic is something that we have constantly. Traffic is a own little
So you work.
section by itself.
Look, I tell people judges work harder than attorneys because obviously you have a docket of 4,000 cases. That's basically you have it's like an attorney having 4,000 cases, which is kind of unheard of.
Right.
It's really unheard of. And not only, well, let me rephrase this. You have to read the pleadings for both sides. It's just it's not just,
That's
as an attorney, it's just me preparing on behalf of my client.
Right.
But as a judge, you have to read both sides and then make a decision,
We
right?
have to read both sides and make a decision, and we try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we try to push them to try to resolve it, because a lot of times if they resolve it, they're gonna be happier than if we come up with a decision. Usually when we say we make a decision, no one's happy, because everyone, wants, it's all or nothing.
Exactly, exactly.
Whereas at least if they can compromise and come up with a resolution, they each can live with it.
They're in control of their own destiny.
Exactly.
Because once they ask a judge to rule, it's no longer in their hands, and then you have to follow the law. And sometimes
That's correct.
one person is happy and one person is not happy. Sometimes they're both unhappy, but that's what happens. So, can you tell us a little bit more of your community involvement?
Well, I'm very involved in the community. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to be a judge, because I wanted to continue to serve Broward County.
Okay.
But I am a board member for the Broward Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
I am a board member, and I used to be chair of the Community Action Agency.
Okay.
They're an agency that gives services to the community, to the people.
Okay.
For example, LIHEAP is one of the programs. Where they pay for FP&L bills if you get a shut-off notice.
Okay.
And we get grants from the state in order for us to be able to do that. And then there's a CSBG program, which is where they help you pay rent, and they help you, they help bail you out if you have
Financial struggles.
Financial struggles. And I know that there's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of people are in need. So that's one of the things that we do, and we have to approve their budget. We have to make sure that they're allocating it correctly, and that they're following the rules, because the person has to meet the criteria in order to be able to be eligible for that program. I'm also involved with Make-A-Wish. I grant wishes for children with chronic illnesses.
Okay.
So I go into their homes and I talk to them and I see what the child really wants, and then I'm able to help them grant their wish. I do have I had a child that wants to go to Japan and go to Japan, so.
Nice.
Something that they've always wanted.
Okay.
I'm also involved with the Community Access Agency in Miramar, and it's a Haitian-based community organization
Okay,
where they provide services to Haitians in Miramar.
okay.
I'm also involved with a lot of the bars, and I
But
just try to make
try to
sure
stay
that
active.
I stay active.
So obviously during this time, there's a lot of need. This Corona crisis has put a big hurting on Broward County and the United States as a whole.
That's good.
And I know the courts are still active, but they're not accessible to the public. Can you tell us about, and I think, can you tell us about some of the things the court's doing or that you're doing during this time that's a little bit different than normal?
Right. One of the things that our chief judge is emphasizing is that safety comes first. So safety is our priority. We want to make sure that the community is safe and that the virus is no longer well, we're trying to do the social distancing so that we're not spreading the virus. So what we're doing a lot of remote hearings. We're having a lot of telephonic hearings, and we're using Zoom in order to continue to conduct business, so that we don't have too much of a backlog. So it's not business as usual. This is a whole new time. But I can say that in our circuit, we've heard in the first month after the courthouse closed, we've heard about 2,000 cases and signed over thousands of orders.
So here's my question. How are the pro se individuals with the Zoom and the calls? Because obviously the attorneys are used to, calling in. The Zoom is a little bit different, but most of the time, most pro se people are people that are not represented by attorney. How has that been?
It has been a challenge.
Okay.
So when the hearings are scheduled, my secretary would go in, would try to contact everybody a couple of days before the hearing, let them know they're gonna be getting a call, and, or that, can you please log on to Zoom, this is the call-in number, or this is the ID number, I think that's what they use for Zoom. Of course, sometimes people don't answer their phones, they don't call back, so, I've had to reschedule a couple of cases in order, until we were able to actually get a hold of the person. And we would send something out. If we have an email address, we'll send an email, or we'll send it via mail, but we know that via mail, we gotta, we may have to reschedule. So it's been a challenge, but it's been working.
It's been working.
I think that people are getting the adjusting, exactly. I think initially it was a little harder, but now it's getting better.
Now, since you're in county, all these small claims matters, they're all being reset, right? Is that?
Yes. So we've reset for example, pre-trials. We reset most of the pre-trials for the PIP cases. The personal injury protection cases, where it's the doctor's offices suing the insurance companies. On those cases, there is an administrative order that invokes the rules on all of those cases.
Okay.
So those cases don't have to have a pre-trial at this point, because the rules are invoked, and they can start doing their discovery, and they can start continuing, with the litigation. On the pro se and the non-PIP cases, what we're doing is we are asking them to go directly to mediation.
Okay.
So that way they don't have to come to court first, and if they're able to resolve it, then they never have to come to court. They get their paperwork done, the mediator will, give them whatever it is that they need, they sign it, and their case is over, as long as, there isn't a violation of the mediation agreement. However, if they are not able to agree, then they'll get a trial date, and then we'll do that trial by Zoom, or we'll do it in person, depending on,
on the circumstances.
The circumstances and when that trial is set.
What's happening with the traffic tickets that that's a humongous volume of cases that you didn't even include in your 4,000 cases. Right.
The traffic tickets are a little bit different. They're a little bit less priority, as long as they're not criminal traffic. If they're just traffic, what we're doing is we're resetting those. So I have a date that I picked in June that I'm going to do a lot of those hearings. depending on what happens, hopefully we'll be able to reopen and we'll be able to conduct business, but, a lot of them, a lot of the traffic ones that are not pro se, the attorneys represent the defendants, and the defendants don't really have to come to court. So
Okay.
we're gonna try to do some of those by Zoom, at least I'm gonna try to do some of those by Zoom, I'm not speaking for the other judges.
Okay,
But the ones that are pro se, we're gonna try to special set them so that they're coming in one by one, so that we can get them done.
okay.
Uh,
So people shouldn't be really well, I don't wanna, just resetting them, because obviously some people have concerns, hey, I got a ticket to appear, and they show up to the court and
Right.
they have no access, so, and then people get concerned, am I
Right.
gonna have my driver's license suspended, or?
Right, they're not gonna get their driver's license suspended. We're sending out letters letting them know that their cases will be postponed, will be delayed. Because a traffic, let's say it's a speeding violation, it's a traffic offense that we can hear a few months from now. It's not one of those things that's going to
Harm
make a difference or harm
Of
the
the community, or create some safety concern in the community.
Exactly. Now, for the, and I want people to know out there that if you are charged with a criminal traffic offense, and it's a criminal traffic offense that you can fix. For example, you were driving with a suspended license and you can actually go out and get your license fixed. Or you're driving without valid registration and you can go out and get registration for your license. And you can provide that proof to the clerk of court, and the clerk of court is open, so they're accepting filings online. If you can do that, then we can get that case dismissed or no prost before you ever even, and you may never have to come back to court.
That's good information, because I think a lot of people are unaware, and, my office was across the street from the court, and I would constantly see people showing up, and they're getting upset, because they can't, the ticket says you have to be here,
Right.
they're not allowed access, so they're concerned. What has been your biggest challenge as a judge?
My biggest challenge,
Yes.
I think, is a lot of times you have people who come in and they don't understand the law, and they get angry because you're telling them, well, I can't do that. I'm not supposed to do that, because
Okay.
the law says I can't do that, and they don't understand that. Then they say, but that's not the right thing, that's not fair. It's like, I understand that, but I have to follow the law, and unfortunately, the law doesn't always appear to be fair when it's applied, because, the legislatures make the law, and sometimes there are circumstances that they don't take into consideration.
Yes.
So it doesn't always, and they get upset. They get upset with me because I didn't give them exactly what they were looking for.
But your job is just to follow the law.
For example, I had a case where a woman, she said that her husband had a heart attack and he was in the hospital, and her landlord was evicting her. And she was not the breadwinner,
Yes.
he was, so she didn't have the money to pay the landlord. Unfortunately, I can't say that you can stay, because it's not mine, it's not something I can do.
Exactly.
And I feel bad for you, and I want to help you. The only thing I can do is ask you to go to mediation, and hopefully the landlord will work something out with you. But if you're unable to work that out, then there's not a lot that I can do.
No, I understand.
Especially if he wants you out and you haven't paid
Several
the
months
rent
up?
in several months.
Yes. What's been your biggest joy as being a judge?
I have had so many cases where people actually walk out and they say, thank you, you really made a difference in my life, and that's the reason why I do this.
So, is there anything you want to tell the community or kids, a message you want to?
Well, my message to the kids is that, my journey to the bench was not an easy one. It took me 15 times. I applied 15 times before I was actually appointed by the governor's office. So my message to you is to work hard and to persevere, because if you don't keep trying and you don't work at it, it's not ever going to happen. And you can achieve your goal and you can achieve your dream as long as you really want it and you work hard at getting it, you're gonna get it. So, and you have to start working hard, even in high school and in elementary school. That's where you start, getting those habits and making sure that you get the grades and making sure that you work hard. It's not, you're not getting an A just because, you're gonna get $20 from your mom if you get an A. But you're getting an A because that's gonna help you in your future, so.
And it only benefits you to get
and
good
it-
grades.
And it only benefits you.
So with that message, we wanna thank you for coming out. There's one last thing we wanna say, the judge is up for re-election in August, and we wish her all the best. But we thank her for taking her time out today, which is a Sunday, to come interview with us, and we wish her all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.